Hey everyone! This is an introductory tutorial on Python. I will make a series of videos where I will explain the very basic concepts for everybody who is interested in beginning to learn how to program. In this video I will tell you about the very fundamentals of Python, the stuff that you would like to know when you just opened it up for the first time in your life. So first things first, I highly recommend you to install Python using Anaconda. Anaconda is a toolset that contains all of the tools you could conceivably need for Python programming. You will be able to use it for machine learning, visualizing data, all sorts of crazy stuff. So just go to anaconda.com and install it from there. It's free and etc. So it's easy to install and it sets everything up for you. Aside from basic Python tools, it gives you a very beautiful programming environment called Jupyter Lab, and I'm using it to create these videos, and you will be able to use it to follow them. So after you install Anaconda, all you will need to do is to create a folder where you want to keep your projects, and then open a terminal in this folder and type in Jupyter Lab. You will type Jupyter Lab into your terminal and it will automatically create this beautiful environment and launch a browser. There you will be able to, well, it's pretty straightforward to use. You will be able to create a new file in your folder and you will create a new notebook with the Python 3 label on it. Like, it will just tell you you can create a Python 3 notebook. And from there you will be able to type code and text into this notebook. To execute, to type text, you can make cell to be a markdown cell. There's a drop down that allows you to select it. And to type code, you just type code in a cell, like so. For example, I create a new cell and type 2 plus 3, and then I press Shift Enter, and then it returns 5. So it evaluates the cell and returns 5. It also allows you to create images and all sorts of stuff. So just do this, just install Anaconda, run Jupyter Lab, and let's get started with this video. So here I will tell you about the very basics of Python. So first of all, you will learn about numbers, how to use just basic math in Python, and how to use variables. So let's begin with simple numbers. As you have seen, I've just typed two numbers and it added them for me. So what else can we do with them? Well, first of all, there are two types of numbers in Python. First is integer, in other words, a whole number, like 1 or 10 or -5. As I type a number and evaluate it by pressing Shift Enter, it will return me the number itself. Pretty straightforward. There are also floating point numbers. For example, things like 3.4 or -2.1. Basically any number that has a decimal point in it. That's it. There are many other variable types and you will learn about them in my future videos. So let's move on to the basic math. First of all, the most basic rudimentary use of Python is that you can use it as a calculator. So you can just type 1 plus 2 and it will return you 3. You can divide numbers, multiply numbers. Let's say I divide two numbers, like 3 divided by 2. It will return 1.5. If I want to take a power of a number, like if I want 2 to the power of 3, I type 2 multiply signs, like so. I can also take roots. For example, if I want to take a square root of 4, I just use the same symbol to do it like so. 4 to the power of 0.5 is 2. Excellent. Also, as you notice, whenever you if you add integers, it remains integers, but if you divide the numbers or take it to the power of 0.5, it returns a float. You can distinguish integer from a float by looking at decimal point after it. So that's the very basic math. There is a whole math module that you will be able to import, and that allows you to do all sorts of crazy stuff with mathematics, but this will be enough for this tutorial. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention is that order of operations. Like, for example, if I want to do 2 plus 5 by 5 plus 1, it will maintain the order that you are used to in math. So it will first multiply do first multiplications and then addition, like so. If you want to change the order of operation, it's also very familiar from math. You just wrap numbers in parentheses, like so. If you want to first add 2 plus 5 and then multiply it to 5 plus 1, you do it like that. And there you go. Now it first executed this and then this, and then multiplication. Okay, very well then. And finally I will tell you that you can convert integer into a float. For example, if you want 3 to be a floating point number, you would just type float. It is a function that converts integer into float, and it will return 3.0. And vice versa, you can convert floats to integers by using integer function. For example, if I want to convert 2.4 into an integer, I run it, and there you go, it returns 2. As you can see, it threw out all the numbers after the decimal point and rounded it down. So there you go. The next and the final thing I wanted to tell you about in this tutorial is assigning variables. Variables are basically labels for numbers, and in the future you will learn that they will be you will be able to use them for more than numbers. Basically, you assign a name to a number that you can later modify and do anything you want with it. Let's keep it simple. First, let's create a variable named I and say that it equals 5. Pretty simple. Now, whenever I type A, it will return 5. Just like typing 5 returned 5. Typing A will return 5 now too. So you can also reassign this variable. For example, if I now want A to be 10, there you go. Now A will be 10, will be equal to 10. You can do all the operations on these numbers that you would be able to do on regular numbers. So for example, if I want to create another variable called B, let's say it will be equal 5. And then I want to add A plus B. There you go. It added a variable A 10 plus B 5 equals 15. Pretty simple stuff. I can also create a new variable that will contain the result of these two variables added together. So for example, if I create a variable C and make it be A plus B, now C is equal to 15, like so. One more interesting thing is that you can reassign the variable using its own, using itself. Let's say I want B to be equal B plus 1. Now it took the variable B, which was 5, and added 1 to it, and now it's 6. If I run it multiple times, this operation will be executed several times. Now let's create a little very simple your first programming exercise that will show you what you can do with variables. So let's say you want to calculate your salary based on taxes. So you want to create a little program that you will be able to tell your salary to and your tax rate to, and then it will tell you how much money you have after taxes. It's very simple. Let's first create a variable called salary, and let's make it equal 100. Maybe it's 100,000 if you're a programmer, or maybe it's $100 if you're a hobo. And then you create another variable named taxes. It will contain the tax rate. Let's say it will be 10%, so 0.1. And now we can calculate post-tax salary. It will be equal your salary minus the amount you have to pay in taxes. To calculate that, you need to take salary again and multiply it by your tax rate. Now this equation will tell you salary multiplied by taxes, and then it will subtract from your salary. And finally, one last thing we will learn in this tutorial is a print statement. Print allows you to print anything you want on the screen. For example, if you would write a Python script and somebody would execute it, you would be able to type any output into a terminal. Or here it will just type it as an output in the next cell. So let's say I want to print a string. It will show me my monies, how much I have made, and then I want to add my post-tax salary. There you go. It has calculated the salary using these variables and printed out the result. You can change these variables to whatever you want, and it will work just great. So there you go. This is your first simple Python program. This is the simplest program in the world, and you have learned stuff about programming, and I hope that this was useful to you, and I'll see you in my future videos.